This is VEDN Day 1, vlog every day in November. It is All Saints Day today. And I don't really have anything pertaining to saints to talk about today. However, I did think of one topic, which is something I've been thinking about, which is all of these people who are like right-wing grifters who start out on the left. And it's just a weird pattern I've been noticing. What is with these people? Yeah, they're everywhere now. You got Russell Brand, you got Dave Rubin, of course. You've got, I guess, Sargon of Akkad kind of went that path, although he was never really a left-wing commentator in that sense. But he has definitely drifted further and further right with every year. You have, right now, Anna Kasparian is seeming to be trying to go in that direction for some reason. Jimmy Dore has also totally gone in that direction, which is funny because now there's 3 Young Turks reporters. 2 of whom have gone in that direction, one of whom is threatening to, which I'm very curious about how that's going to end up. Is Anna actually going to have to leave TYT? Is Cenk going to get upset at her? It seems like a rift is forming, and it seems like a pointless rift, and I don't know why Anna feels such a strong need to do this. And I don't know if she actually is going to go the grifter route, or if she's just on a weird sort of, I don't know, because, you know, J.K. Rowling had this thing where she started out saying something about trans people, and then it got a lot of people upset, and then instead of just being like, okay, we have a disagreement, and, you know, I have my opinion, you have your opinion, let's be adults about this, she just doubled down and got really ideological about it, really turfy and feminist about it, and took totally the wrong attitude and alienated everybody. And it feels like Anna Kasparian is doing that exact same thing. And that's the sort of behavior, that kind of erratic, like, what sort of confusing behavior, that makes me wonder if this is going to end up with her leaving the left altogether and becoming a right-wing host, which, I mean, I can see it in her. I can see the potential for that in her. But it would just be so weird. But yeah, all of these people are doing it. There's probably even more who I have forgotten to mention, who I've forgotten the names of. But it's like, what's interesting about them is that they have this trajectory that you can see coming, where they start off as left-wing commentators, and maybe they're even a bit bigoted in their left-wing views. Maybe they're even a bit sort of like intolerant of other people's positions. And then they have kind of an awakening where they're like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be so intolerant of other people's positions. Maybe we should start to kind of, you know, talk to the other side. And the thing that bugs me is, like, they could just stop there and it would be perfect. Like, Russell Brand could have just stopped at, I'm no longer gonna be the whiny, arrogant, shithead liberal. I can now just be like, hey, we're all human beings, you know, preach a message of universal love and be done with it. But no, he's like, now he's got to keep going. They always just have to keep going. And it's because, it must be because they just find more money in that direction. Like, that, once they start doing that, they're rewarded for it. They're rewarded with attention, they're rewarded with money. And it just must be a thing where the money keeps driving them further and further down that road. Because I just don't see what's so attractive about weird, conspiratorial, anti-vax bullshit. I just don't see what's so attractive about that, unless you are going to grift off of it, unless you're going to make a whole lot of money doing it. So it's an interesting phenomenon. Joe Rogan is another example, even though, again, kind of like Sargon, he was never like a left-wing voice. But Joe Rogan has always pretty much been a liberal until very recently. It seems like now, very recently, in the last few years, he's done this flip where now he's Ron DeSantis and Robert Kennedy are his favorite candidates this year. What the fuck? And oh, Tulsi Gabbard is another example of this, because this is the example I was forgetting. Because in 2020, I think, Joe Rogan said that Tulsi Gabbard was his favorite. And back then, if you said Tulsi Gabbard was your favorite candidate, that meant you were a progressive. Which is weird, because I remember even Sargon of Akkad back then made a video in support of Tulsi Gabbard. He's like, I like Tulsi Gabbard. Even though he was by that point totally in the right-wing camp. And Tulsi was totally in the left-wing camp at that point. But it's like he saw the grifting potential in her. He was like, this is one of my tribe. I know, I can see it in this woman where she's gonna go places. And I'm gonna get in on the Tulsi train early. Because at the end of that video, he was like, she is a liberal, not a progressive. Even though she was clearly marketing herself as a progressive. Which was very weird to me at the time. I was like, why do you think she's not a progressive? Of course, now she's gone totally right and become a Trump supporter. It's like, what the fuck? Oh, Roseanne Barr is another great example. Roseanne Barr, and with Roseanne Barr, you know what? I don't think it's a grift with her. She's the one person who I don't think is grifting. Because Roseanne Barr is just crazy. She actually was the Green Party nominee for president when she was living in Hawaii. And so she used to be a progressive, but then she became a Trump supporter, and it might have just been Trump. I don't know what it was when she, along the line, turned into a conservative. I don't know exactly what it was. It might have been Trump. It might have been something else. But at any rate, she became a conservative, and I think, honestly, it's probably just her just being weird. that made her go in that direction. The same reason she went into the Green Party in the first place. She's just kind of weird. She's a mentally ill woman, really. I mean, and it's no secret. She's open about that, about the fact that she's a psychotic. You know, she's taken antipsychotic medication and been in mental hospitals plenty of times. It's just a fact of her life that she has to deal with. But it leads her to do weird things sometimes. By the way, I was thinking about that Valerie Jarrett comment she made that got her fired from ABC. She was like, it's like the Muslim Brotherhood meets Planet of the Apes. And people interpreted that as racist. I think the Muslim Brotherhood thing was probably just her talking about Valerie Jarrett's like Iran shit that she said. I don't know. Very stupid, bigoted, conservative bullshit, but not exactly racist, I wouldn't say. But then the whole Planet of the Apes thing, Valerie Jarrett actually does kind of look like Helena Bonham Carter's character from the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes. And when you realize that, it kind of makes sense why she, in her weird Ambien-fueled, just strung out mind, like she was like, yeah, this is gonna be a fucking zinger. Muslim Brotherhood meets Planet of the Apes. But it wasn't a racial thing, and Valerie Jarrett doesn't even look black. If you didn't know that Valerie Jarrett was black, you wouldn't be able to tell, which is why she famously said that line. I thought the bitch was white! God damn it! And it's like, I can see her frustration, because I actually believe her that she thought Valerie Jarrett was at least something other than black. So I think she got wrongly terminated, I think, for that comment. I think it was I mean, maybe they were right to terminate her, but they used wrong reasoning, I think, because the whole circuit kind of presented it like it was a racial thing. Maybe you could say that, yeah, we don't want our star of our big sitcom to be saying such stupid, insensitive shit on Twitter all the time like a loose cannon. Fine. But I think maybe the way they dressed it up wasn't all that honest. However, she's another one of these people who drifted right. I was talking about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, yeah, he was a progressive in a sense, I think. I think he was sympathetic, very sympathetic to progressive interests and ideas. But it seems like he's become a lot less interested in that stuff lately. And he was always interested in right-wing figures. He was always interested in right-wing thinkers, and he would bring them on and talk to them. But he would also talk to a lot of progressives. It seems that he's kind of lost interest in the progressives, and he's drifted further and further right. He's moved to Texas, which is the first red flag. And yeah, it seems like the kind of people he's interested in hanging out with lately and the kind of rhetoric that he's interested in, it seems quite, well, a lot of it seems very irresponsible, and I just think that maybe he should think a little bit harder about the position he's in and the kinds of things that he and his guests are advocating for, especially regarding the whole like COVID-19 and the vaccines and the masks and like all that really weird like anti-public health. Like, why do people not want us to be healthy? I don't get it. Like, on the right, like, can you just like shut the fuck up, please? Like, and think about other people, think about the public good and how stupid it is to put your health in your own hands when there are people who are actually, you know, for good reason, elites who know this shit and have a much more informed perspective on it. And that's maybe another thing I can talk about in this video is elitism. And I'm starting to see that now, a very good trend, I think. Elitism is starting to become popular in a way that I've never seen it be popular before. It seems like people are sick and tired of these know-nothing morons acting like power to the people means let's all be fucking idiots all the time and not listen to the people who actually know what they're talking about. And I'm just so glad that now it seems like I'm seeing more and more people start to make videos about this, start to address this, start to be like, no, people, the elites actually oftentimes are right, and they have our best interests in mind a lot of the time, and they are intelligent, and we need more elites in power, not fewer. You know, we need more elites in a position of influence, not fewer. And for me, I think it really comes down to this idea of the intellectual elites. And I think there's a big difference between the intellectual elites and the financial elites, we can call them. Because, you know, a lot of these financial elites are these crazy freaking weirdos who don't really care about anyone other than themselves. And, you know, all they learned how to do is make money. Like Donald Trump. And that's the whole irony of Trump being a so-called populist. But the intellectual elites who work in intellectual fields, I think we need to do more to bring those people into the government and make them feel like their word is taken seriously, and that I think we need to kind of free it from the politics of it in a way. Like, remove as much of the sort of personal political silliness from all of these very important and very needed and necessary fields that we have. so that people can feel free to actually contribute to the best of their ability. And so that's, you know, that's why I talk every once in a while about this thing, technocracy. I think a government by, as I said in one of my videos, it was pretty much this exact wording. A government by scientists and historians would be better than a government by rednecks and Giulianis. And Giuliani, to me, when I talk about him, he's the archetype of just the ghoulish, you know, you can call him Giuliani, the ghoulish vampire politician who is nothing but self-interested, has absolutely no, you know, good moral bone in his body, and is a total joke, is a total pathetic waste of a human being. And maybe someone who had potential at one point, like he had a lot of, like he got to his position through some merit of his own, some skill, you know, as an attorney, for instance. But he's someone who has wasted any potential he might have had on being purposely and intentionally immoral for his own gain. And you know, that's the kind of thing, I mean, that's what Trump is. That's what so many of these people are. And I think that's kind of what people are railing against when they talk about the elites. But really, they're no better. They're exactly the same people. If the so-called populists, if the dipshits, the Alex Jones listeners, got to the kind of position of influence as someone like a Giuliani, they would act in exactly the same way. Because a lot of these people are not actually, they're not actually good people, you know. they're just not. Or they don't have really the duty and public interest in mind. They have a totally warped perspective on life. And so yeah, we need more elitism. We need intellectual elitism. We need people to say, yes, listen to the experts, hear what they have to say, take it in, because they know what they're talking about. And that is something that I think is it's so dreadfully backward that people have decided to abandon it. And, you know, that's why we have people like George Bush, you know, these idiots who get popular because they are stupid, and because of that, people like relate to them, and they're like, oh yeah, these pretentious know-it-alls on the left, they think they're better than us. Well, we are better than you. That's the problem. You should do the work to be better if you want to be better, instead of just pretending that you're something you're not. So that's my opinion on that.